Hey, 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 or it's better to say ho, ho, ho. Welcome to 2024.
Yes, let it be prosperous and first of all, peaceful year for you all. And I'm looking forward for a year where we probably should produce something like 30 new episodes of Fry Talks. And I'm sure it's gonna be exciting, and we will have exciting, interesting guests.
It sounds like a commitment, Roland, a New Year resolution.
Let's make it New Year resolution. Yes.
Good, good. So, welcome everyone for joining, and thank you for joining our first this 2024 year episode of Fry Talks. And as usually, we tend to share insights, best practices, and anecdotes from B2B companies. And probably it's not yet a tradition, but as every year before, we also started with looking back what happened in the last year and what actually to expect from upcoming year. And we have prepared the conversation around key trends. And of course, there are plenty of different trends, what actually many great experts are sharing nowadays about what is happening and what's going to happen in 2024 in areas of marketing, sales, and many others. But we have picked up just few to discuss with you. And it would be really good if you could use a chat option and provide your thoughts and your point of view on those things. So let's jump in directly and have a conversation about what are the key trends and how to make actually lead generation work in 2024 better than in 2023. So Roland, what do you think? What is the most like hottest trend what we should start with?
Well, I think that what we see from both of our experience and what is confirmed by research from Gartner and others is that actually everything is getting somewhat more extreme. If we were talking like a few years ago that two-thirds of buyer's journey buyers do independently, now Gartner announced this summer that actually they think it's now 95% of buyer's journey that buyers do independently. It means they are not talking with sales; they are gathering information on their own, doing their own research, talking with their peers, talking in buyers groups, and so on. And also on top
Good.
of that, the buying process itself has become more complex with more people participating or giving their go no go for this decision and so on. So things are getting more interesting, I would say.
Yeah, but think of this 95%. It's like sounds like almost there is no chance for salespeople to interfere and to influence anything. So we, in most of cases, even don't know that there is something happening. So that these people are just going and discovering themselves, learning themselves, making up the decisions, and you know maybe in the very end you just get notified that hey, we are gonna buy something from you. How?
Yes, yes, absolutely. That is the case, and we knew a while ago that buyers increasingly prefer not to talk with sales, and they are not real trusting sales, right? And now over COVID, that has again
Yes.
become more extreme. The other side of the coin of this lack of trust or willing to do their own research is actually that importance of building trust, of building awareness, of building brand actually is becoming more and more important because this awareness, brand, and trust is like a shortcut. Once the buyer feels they can trust you, they're much more open to talk with you and actually listen to your sales. They're much more willing to argue on your behalf in buying groups, meetings, and so on. And at the end of the day, they are more likely to register and sign up for your content, leaving you contact details. So I would say that if a few years ago it was possible to get attention with some really well produced marketing content and generate leads just by having, let's say, a white paper or ebook, now it's becoming much more difficult unless you have built awareness and trust in the first place.
Yeah, and I think you mentioned about the complexity, and we feel it all across that the complexity of the buyer journey definitely is increasing, and it's not only for the salespeople and marketing people, but it's also for the buyers themselves. So they need to, get many different approvals internally. They need to align with the stakeholders, budget owners, and many things like that. So again, if you look from the marketing perspective, like how can we use that for our benefit, right? For our strategies in 2024. And if you turn this challenge into opportunity, and you start to facilitate basically this process, start to help your potential buyers with additional information, with really high quality insights, with some tools and things like that, that's actually the way how you can still be part of this process, regardless whether they register for something or not. But if they find information what they need for this complex process to be moving forward from you, that's again creates an opportunity and creates chances for you to become a vendor in the end of the day. For
Yes.
that, that's one thing. Another what I see is that also expectations from the from buyers are definitely rising in terms of the kind of specifics of the content, specifics of the information what they are looking for. Because again, as soon as they need to prepare very kind of detailed information for their internal processes and sales, if you like, then it means that they're also looking for specific data points, specific insights, specific arguments, how to justify the decision what they are preparing. And so again, that means if you understand better your audience, if you work on micro segmenting your audience so that you can then tailor your content, you can tailor your buyer journey accordingly. So again, that increases your chances to win this audience and to win in the end of the day a new business what they potentially can create for you. I think that is what we can kind of mention as a one of the let's say prominent trends. What is not new, but definitely it will continue. And as we see from what you mentioned, like if Gartner was mentioning about 60% of the buyer journey was driven by buyers just a few years ago, that now it's 95. I'm wondering what to expect next year.
Well, actually, if past in any way is informing the future, we see this trend continuing, and we see also that buyers are more open to close larger transactions purely online. Everything is shifting online. Everything is shifting to self-service. I think this trend is likely to continue. I don't see a reason why it wouldn't be actually.
Yeah, me too. And of course, you can hear from traditional sales guys that hey, how it's possible to buy $500,000 deal over the internet or something like that. But look at consumers, and nowadays people buy cars, so you can buy Tesla, and many people do that just online, purely online. They're ready to spend, and they actually spending like 50K or even above that easily. Right, and that trend continues, and that means that mentally it's not a big deal for the same people to spend money for their business purposes and so on. So I think it's definitely will continue.
Yes, however, you shouldn't disregard the question of trust, because buyers prefer transactions online, but they are only ready for transactions when the trust is built, when the trust is in place, and when they feel safe about actually doing that. Otherwise, business just...
Absolutely. And I think that's exactly what, again, we can turn into opportunity, because this trend continuing, if you already now start to invest and start to plan your activities and execute your activities with objective to build the trust, not to drive sales only, right? And that's again something what will pay off in very near future. Building trust and then converting this trust into the demand, into the business. That actually what is a great opportunity for marketing in 2024. Okay,
Yes.
so
Another trend I think we should mention is the growing importance of all kind of communities, both in person,
Exactly.
online, even talking to actually strangers on some forums or on Reddit and so on. We see that from one hand, buyers are kind of trusting less the vendor or not willing to talk with sales, but they are more interested than ever to talk with their peers or with people like that. They are interested to learn how they are solving the same problems. They are interested to learn from them how they look at the market space, at vendors, and so on. And for marketing, again, it's not too easy channel to work with, but I think it's well worth investment. What's your opinion on this?
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. I think we have heard a lot about so-called dark social from many experts this year, and it will definitely continue moving forward. And as you rightly mentioned, so the importance of these professional communities and peer-to-peer communication is definitely growing, because that's a natural need. You do your own research, but you also need to verify and whether your path is right, whether your assumptions are right. So whom you want to ask? You want to ask the same professionals who are actually facing similar challenges, and maybe they even have solved that already. So that's why these communities are so important, right? And to uncover them, it's not an easy task, indeed, but there are ways. And again, if you put it into your objectives for this calendar year, that's definitely worth doing. And identifying those places where your audience kind of communicate, exchange ideas and best practices, that should be one of your top priorities. And there are a few ways how you can do that. One is just directly asking your audience, hey, name me, what are these groups what you are using on Slack or on Reddit or anywhere else, or LinkedIn, or just go and search for that. So again, by doing that, you will uncover a lot of interesting conversation happening. Secondly, I think it's also important to identify who are those influencers whom they are actually trusting to. And this is not necessarily only individuals, but these can be also some maybe institutions and so on. So in one of our recent projects where we did this type of research, we found out, for instance, that the audience in particular, they are very much following one specific educational institution, which actually doing regular research, they issuing annual reports on certain topics, they facilitate expert conversations and so on and so forth. And that is where the gatherings are happening, both virtually and physically. And so similar way, I'm sure that you can identify many other as well. And secondly,
yes, And here I would like to refer back to the FryTalks episode we had with Aldis Erglis. And actually, he was very practically explaining how they are using meetups in Germany to actually connect with the audience, to demonstrate their competence, and at the end of the day also land quite a lot of new business. So I very much recommend this. This is one of my favorite episodes, actually.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and Meetup as a platform, and similar to that, also is a good source of those groups and communities where you can find. But one is to become part of it. Yeah,
and I would say that even if you are not feeling confident to contributing to discussions, just make sure you sign up for those groups, because it provides great direct voice of customer. You can learn so much about your audience, about their interests, about their pains, about their opinions. It's like it's like, listening into your customers, chatting between themselves. It's extremely valuable source of information.
But in fact, it is. It is. Yeah.
It is.
Yeah. And secondly, the another opportunity for marketing, if you look from that perspective, it's creating your own community. So look around, and if there is no maybe, if this niche is still open, take it, and just create your own community for these professionals. Again, of course, it should not be like a salesy, where you just pitch your solution or product and that's it. It should be really a community. What you just maybe facilitate, you organize, but you give it basically to the people, to the audience, so that they can actually be part of it. Then they can drive the conversation.
And another good idea is actually try to reach out to organizers of the meetup or whoever is behind that group, because quite often these people kind of have had enough. They are organizing for years. They are tired. They would be very, very, very open and happy to work with somebody who can help them liven up the community, contribute to it, do more organizing, and so on. I think I have seen no less than 3 communities like that posting messages that current, let's say, administrator feels like her time is up. She doesn't want to do it anymore and is looking for somebody who would like to take over this role. So quite often that's possible as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And then another trend, maybe related to, in a way, it's about the overwhelming amount of information what it actually has been created. And it was also interesting for me to see that in one of the article there was mentioned that next year we can expect that nearly 75% of the content being created on internet will be in one or another way involving AI. So, which means that it's huge. I don't know how do you feel yourself, guys, but we all probably see how much role of AI now is in the marketing, in sales, in these type of areas, right? And that's definitely will be growing. AI here is just in the beginning of the journey, and it will impact even more our lives and lives of our clients. But same time, it creates kind of a negative effect in that sense that the amount of information is growing. People cannot cope with that, and more importantly, that the quality of this information, what has been created, is declining all the time, right? And it's too generic, low value. Basically, people don't see any point spending time on this, and you should be very careful about leveraging that for your marketing activities this year. I don't know why it's always fiscal year coming out, but you look at it from the opportunity perspective again, that if everybody is actually producing this AI based content, it gives you a chance to stand out with the content produced differently. Not necessarily that you disregard the AI opportunities, not at all, but if you really invest your time in preparing original insights-based content, that's the way how you can differentiate. That's the way how you can truly attract attention of your audience, and they will appreciate it a lot. What do you think, Ron?
I think AI is a bit of danger to marketing profession in general, because currently we see generally the world flooded with content, parroting other content. So it's kind of a loop of copying, remixing, etc. content with AI.
Yeah.
And I think AI is not a bad thing. However, you really need to be mindful about how you stand out, how you keep your tone of voice, how you keep your opinion, and how you do not become lazy and do not ask AI to work for you. right? You cannot delegate to AI creative thinking. You can use it to help you generate ideas, to structure your point at the end of the day, right? But what people appreciate is original thinking, original tone of voice, original opinion, and so on. And this, I think, these are the ways how you can stand out in this AI-generated world, which people are more and more getting, a bit sick of reading the same nicely written sentences, using the same words in advertising, on landing pages, and so on. So I think there is opportunity, and AI, even if if you put your own original effort in it, AI just helps you to shorten the production cycle so much that you can be productive, you can be quick, you can be creative, and still you can also stay original and try to maintain this authenticity, originality, even maybe if it's not always very correct language. But these human mistakes or errors, I think that's one area which helps you stand out. If people feel that it's an error Roland always makes in his in his English, right? They will trust that content is indeed written by me.
You know what just popped up in my mind, that I'm sure that it will be in some point of time maybe a feature of AI that you can kind of enable some intentional errors and intentional whatever, I don't know, just to make it not as perfect as it is today. Because of course, it's very nice to see how nicely it's putting in English, like especially for us as a non-native English people. So how nicely it can put like words and into sentences or paragraphs or something like that. But by time we see also that it start to become not authentic, not original, and so on. Another thing related to the content creation, I believe, is also to think how you can actually leverage your expertise, what you already own. Think of this as a great opportunity from marketing perspective as well. So you have a lot of experts, a lot of people who own the knowledge. You have experience from your projects and so on and so forth. And that is exactly what buyers appreciate today. Remember what we talked just a few minutes back about the complexity of making decision, of gathering information, preparing those decisions internally, and so on and so forth. And that is exactly where the value can come from you. So if you start to share your best practices, if you start to share your expertise, that can be a great way how to attract, again, potential buyers.
Yes, and again, if we bring back AI in this conversation,
yes,
then actually it helps immensely to formulate, elevate the ideas of your experts. Because if you can just record discussion with, let's say, your engineers about some technically important thing, let's say in kitchen of your office, right? You can transcribe it, you can convert it into blog post, and here you are. You have suddenly content, which is
the solution is to put a recording machine on the kitchen.
Well, it could be part of solution, but realistically, yes, you can convert voice to text so easily that a simple informal conversation can easily become a blog post, an ebook, or something else. Easily.
Yeah, it can be formalized in many different ways. But nevertheless, I think, again, if you look from the opportunity perspective and how you can improve your lead generation this year, think of or make part of your internal expertise available to your customers. Find the champions, find people who would be ready, like your technical guys, your maybe pre-sale guys or whatever, and start to create. And not necessarily you need to create tons of content out of this. You just maybe create a couple of things, but they really will be high quality and original.
Yes, and here again, I want to refer back to some previous episode of Fry Talks when we had Zanne Lasmane from Zabbix. She was exactly explaining the process which she is using to identify technical voices within her company, and how she is helping them to basically prepare their content, step on the stage, and basically scale out. So that's with so Fry Talks with Zane Lasmane from Zabbix. Again, one Fry Talks episode I recommend to listen.
Yeah, it's thanks for reminding this. Okay, so then the last probably thing to mention in our today's conversation is about overall decline of efficiency in traditional way of doing marketing. And here I would specifically refer to the cold outreach and outbound type of activities. That's one where we see that nowadays hardly possible to find someone who is not doing cold outreach. So there are different technologies, tools, AI again, which makes it so easy to start and to execute it. So basically it's so much commoditized nowadays that we all getting like tons of emails every day into our inbox. And that again creates a huge kind of challenge, because buyers not anymore kind of ready to spend time on those emails. They're not responding. We at least hear from many of our clients that this is not working anymore, or it's harder and harder. Of course, that there are still ways how to make it work. Don't take us wrong. We are not saying that cold email not a good tactic to leverage, but just purely executing it on basic level definitely is not a good idea anymore. The same actually applies for the inbound approach, where you just even a couple of years ago could have a webinar or could have a great piece of the content, put it on the campaign, and drive some gated type of campaign, and then you are generating plenty of signups, what you can follow up by telesales and generate pipeline. Nowadays, it's almost not possible, and it's obvious because the length of this buyer journey became longer, more complex, and people need more time to make a decision. It's not just that they attended one webinar and they're ready to buy. I think these times are gone, and you need to really think of more integrated and more sophisticated kind of long-term driven approach in your marketing. And so that is what again we can think of opportunity for this year. So if you really plan your marketing activities not as just ad hoc, standalone, isolated activities, but more like as a funnel which covers all stages of the buyer journey, starting from what we discussed earlier and what Roland mentioned about building the trust. First of all, creating proper awareness and creating the audience as well. And then having integrated activities which drive this audience into more engaging activities, like where they would be ready already to uncover themselves. They would be ready to share some contact information and become part of your CRM. And then you would have also some nurturing programs which continue educating them and helping them actually moving forward throughout this process, what they need to move through, right? And with the great quality content, with some tools which helps them and facilitates their decision making, and so on and so forth. And then by having a proper reporting and having a proper let's say setup which gives you opportunity to score their behavior, you can easily basically generate pipeline which will mainly consist of really warmed up, ready to have a sales conversation contacts. And that's what we see makes a really huge difference from just executing standalone activities to moving to this, let's say, funnel type of approach with integrated campaigns. Will make a difference this year as well. Anything else, Roland, you would like to add?
Yeah, I would like to finish off on perhaps a bit more positive note, because we talked today of how marketing is becoming more difficult, requires more planning, more effort. But that's not new thing. Marketing and competition are things which are always becoming more difficult.
But don't you think
But
that
on a
itself, it's as a fact, is a very positive, because you as a marketeer, as a professional in this area, you always
you can
have
really
great
shine if you are
challenges.
good.
Yeah, exactly. I see it only as a positive, to be honest. I don't see anything negative here. But okay,
Yes,
of course, yeah.
but just bringing again technology in the game. I mean, okay, from one hand things are becoming more complex. From other hand, they're becoming much easier. Creating content, editing videos, creating images, testing different things, and so on. It just has become so much easier. In many cases you don't need to involve sophisticated designers, spend tons of money and time to get to result. With technology it has just become so much easier. So at the end of the day, you have to really think about how to use AI, how to use technologies, because that is really a force multiplier for your marketing efforts. And without technologies, you're like fighting with one hand. It's really real difficult.
Yeah, it's a great summary, Roland, and great advice. Let's enjoy these new opportunities. What actually marketing brings us this year, and I'm personally very excited because there are so many things to learn about and to get your hands on, technologies including. As being very passionate about technologies, I'm looking forward to see those new AI-driven technologies and how they will develop further. Nevertheless, thank you everyone for being with us this half an hour. Yeah, Roland, you have some
One thing before we go, I want to announce that after 2 weeks, we will have a very interesting, very important discussion about setting price strategy for SaaS products. So make sure to tune in, because that episode of Fry Talks may provide you with extremely high return on investment. We will talk about pricing strategy, pricing principles, and pricing is one thing that allows you to dramatically increase profitability without doing anything else. So make sure to tune in 2 weeks.
And just not to lose all these updates, sign up for the IBD Consulting on LinkedIn. You always can follow us and get all the updates. You can also use hashtag FryTalks for finding all the previous episodes. And all our episodes recordings are available as part of the podcast platforms of your choice. Just turn to that platform, whether it be Apple or Spotify. Just search for B2B Sales and Marketing Fry Talks and subscribe. So thanks a lot for being with us. We enjoyed this first Fry Talk, and we are looking forward for our next conversations this year. And as Roland mentioned, so the next one will be a very special and very, very exciting as well. Don't lose this opportunity and join us in 2 weeks. Thanks again. Great Friday, and talk to you very soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.